It has become increasingly more difficult to review these. At this point, I'm struggling to do it. The last several episodes, I think just about every one, the first 30 seconds has pissed me off. I've tried to enjoy Rios. My guilty pleasure is Elnor, because he just shouldn't even be there. He's an elf from Lord of the Rings in Star Trek. But trying hard to appreciate anything I can at this point. Jean-Luc Picard doesn't act like Jean-Luc Picard at all. I liked seeing Data in the first episode, but the whole Data's brain sperm created these... What is this show? I've loved Star Trek my whole life. Almost my whole life, I guess, at this point. If you consider CBS All Access Kurtzman Trek canon, I don't. I think it's fake Trek. I liked the JJ movies to a point, but the only way that I could really appreciate and like them is because I consider them an alternate universe, and yet here we are with CBS All Access in this alternate universe, this alternate timeline of fake Trek. It was another universe, so it was another timeline. It wasn't prime Trek timeline. It wasn't canon. So I was okay with those movies. The casting was great. Now we have this, which is Kurtzman Trek, fake Trek, trying to fool the audience into thinking that this is Trek. I've been in denial about it. I've tried to enjoy it as much as I can because I want to love Star Trek. I want to buy your merch. I want to support it. I want to get on fan forums and talk with other fans and have fun. You know, I want to argue about things geeks used to argue about. What ship is the best? What character is the best? Why? You know, these are the things that I want to talk about. And in the first 30 seconds, again, you know, the first minute of these episodes, which is episode 5, broke me. Just broke me completely because I understood the messaging involved. Let me explain. This is the opening scene of episode 5. And it is Icheb, the character Icheb, not played by the original actor, being disassembled grotesquely. Something out of Saw. I don't like the Saw movies. I don't like violence for the sake of violence. I like horror, but I don't like just violence for the sake of violence. I asked my my good friend, who's also a Star Trek fan, just like me. We could talk all day long. Her favorite series is Voyager. My favorite is DS9, and we can talk about any one of the series all day long because we enjoy every single one of them. Well, with the exception of CBS Trek. And I asked her, I said, what did you think of that scene? And she said, well, that was gross, but it was the character motivation for 7 of 9, for the story. I said, no, that was a message. There was a message being sent to the actor who originally played Icheb, had spoken out against Anthony Rapp about 2 years ago. It was involving the allegations Rapp was making against another actor for sexual misconduct. I'm not going to go into those tweets. You can agree with them or disagree with them. I don't care. I really have no stake in it. But what had happened in response to that was the Discovery crowd, the Alex Kurtzman's woke audience, the Drekkies, tried to initiate cancel culture on him. You know, they berated him. They wanted to disqualify him from having an opinion because his opinion was invalid to them. There's a lot of SJWs that work on Star Trek Discovery. I think we all know this by now. You know, your typical racist, sexist, hyperbolic, just plain jerks, dogmatic assholes. And so this scene is a personal message. It has nothing to do with progressing the story, the character, the plot, anything. This is a personal message to the actor that played Icheb, that you did not associate yourself with our groupthink, so we are going to violently murder your character as we would like to do to you, so that you have no chance whatsoever of being on Star Trek, our fake Trek, ever again. That's what this scene is. And understanding that has made it very difficult for me to enjoy anything. Even the parts of this story or these characters that I did enjoy. because this is the culture of SJWs. This is how they think. If you have the wrong opinion, you are to be canceled. Not only that, but violently attacked. Antifa does it all the time. This is their culture. So it's been difficult. I wanted to cover this episode, but understanding the symbolism here, what they were saying, which had nothing to do with the story. They tried to make it seem like it, but it didn't. It doesn't do with the story. This was a personal attack. I always say to you guys, we'll get through this together. And the truth of the matter is, I know I haven't done many videos lately. I've been busy. I've been working, and I've been working on the book and trying to get the book out. Taking care of personal matters. It takes time for me to do these videos. I have to make time to do them now, as busy as I am. And I don't want to do these. I just don't want to do them. Because it breaks my heart. Star Trek breaks my heart now. Just like Star Wars broke my heart. And then having to see this, and understanding this is why the Fandom Menace exists. This is why it is important for all of us, in and outside the Menace, to stand up and have our voices be heard. Because this scene, these are the people running these franchises that we've loved for so long. I don't think there's any greater symbolism. I mean, other than the long, terrible Last Jedi Luke, which was, again, Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy and her woke audience, her woke hires, letting everyone know what they thought of everyone else who didn't think like them. This scene right here, this is what the people who make Discovery and the people who make Picard and Alex Kurtzman and all the Drekkies that they attract, this is how they feel about us. They would rather have us tortured and murdered if we have the wrong opinion, if we don't appreciate their garbage. I'm just going to skim over these episodes because, honestly, I don't give a shit anymore. Well, here we have Bruce Maddox, not played by the original actor, and not Marina Sirtis. Now, I'm gonna try and be positive as much as I can here. Let's start this out by saying here's another defeated white man. Terrible person. Of course, it's a white guy. But not Marina Sirtis. I actually liked her outfit. Reminded me of Deep Space Nine. Reminded me like the Dabo girls. Didn't get the shoulder thingies. And I thought she was hot, to be honest. I like evil broads. Imagine why I'm not married. Maddox is a terrible person. He's scared, defeated. Bad morals, bad judgment. What SJWs think of white men. Unless you co-sign, to their ideology. Maddox is on this planet doing something. They never really get into it. Lab gets just disintegrated because, I don't know, Tal Shiar, or the secret police. Oh God, let's just keep going. It was good to see Jerry Ryan. I just wish she had been 7 of 9 and not whatever the hell this was. But she had to talk down to Picard because everybody talks to Picard. He's a white guy. He's to be talked down to, disrespected. Like I said, I like seeing Jerry. Sorry you weren't cast in a Star Trek show. You were cast in a fake Trek show. They turned her character into this vigilante warrior. She's not working in cybernetics. She's not working in any kind of science. She's a vigilante in this lawless federation. Such garbage. And she's gay now. Well, they insinuate that. So, her and Chakotay, the buildup of that romance at the end of Voyager, one of the reasons that Janeway came back or Admiral Janeway had come back in time during the finale of Voyager to get everybody home was because Seven had died and it made what it did to Chakotay. So, yeah, screw Chakotay. He's a male. So, let's not even mention him. So let's just make her gay. Appease the alphabet community. Let's not have her as a cyberneticist or working in some kind of a science or exploration field. Let's make her a vigilante in a lawless federation and have her yell at Picard. Great joy. I can't stand Raffi. I've nothing against the actress. I don't even know the actress. I can't stand Raffi. This episode, she's cleaned up. She's waiting to go see her kid on Free Cloud, to which he rejects her because she's been an alcoholic drug addict, and he doesn't want that in his life. So she relapses into becoming an alcoholic drug addict. Thank you, CBS All Access, for keeping it real for people who are struggling with drug and alcohol addictions. Not that I am, but I've known plenty of people that are. I'm sure that you watching know at least one person that's struggled with those addictions. I mean, whether they are genetic or self-imposed, they are a disease. They are. And there are people out there who struggle with those addictions, that struggle to remain sober with this monkey on their back, constantly telling them to just do it. The willpower that it takes must be incredible. I hate that character. I hate Raffi. Why is she even there? And every time she says JL, I want to kick her in the mouth. Why does Elnor always look out of place? You know why Elnor always looks out of place? Because he's a goddamn elf in Star Trek. He's a goddamn elf in Star Trek. That's where we're at. I try to like Elnor. That's my guilty pleasure for this series. Try to like it, but it gets mighty ridiculous in a little bit. I was glad to see that this series actually found a Romulan. They're kind of few and far between. But I think that pisses me off even more, that they understand what a Romulan looks like, and then they give us a whole slew of things posing as Romulans, including elves. Rios, I'm telling you this because I actually kind of like your character. Y'all need to abort this whole series. Now, not that I could not see 709 whooping somebody's ass, because I absolutely could. She's a lot more animated. Annika in this series is a lot more animated as a character. I just don't like the direction of the character. If this had been real Trek, maybe I'd be down. But here she's choking her lesbian lover because F. Chakotay. And we also get to see Picard. What kind of a stooge? What were they doing? That's Jake Picard. What are they doing to Picard? The French accent, the eye patch, the evil, oh, please stop. Please stop. Please stop this madness. Abort. Abort. I have no interest whatsoever in this doctor, the cyberneticist. I can't even remember her name. I'm going to call her the drummer from Scott Pilgrim because that's what Nerdrotic does. Maddox is her man, right? The first thing that she does is kill him. What? I have some friends that like her character. I question that. I guess everyone has different tastes. I found her very annoying, misplaced, just as misplaced, almost as misplaced as the Elfulan. But yeah, so she murders, and the EMH shows up, and she deactivates the EMH of the ship, right? You don't think that the emergency medical hologram would have the ability to override a command that puts a life form in harm? Murder. The EMH wouldn't have that ability. This is a person that just came on this ship a week ago, or a couple days ago, or whatever the hell the timeline is at this point. The EMH wouldn't alert the captain, the person he looks like and is programmed to serve. He wouldn't. The show don't make sense. So the theme for this episode is the Borg Cube of Soji. Took us 6 episodes to finally get some of these characters together. Cute kid. The scene is one of her implanted memories, and she's... Who cares? She's walking to this lab where her dad, I guess Maddox, is working at. She always gets rushed out of this room in the dream. You know, she's not allowed to see him or his face, and she gets together with the Soylent, her Soylent boyfriend, Bucktooth Romulan, and we'll talk about that later. But God, I just don't care. I don't think, unless I'm wrong, maybe there is, but there's never been a more unlikable romance than this one. A more forced. Um, I like the actress who's played Daj and Soji. Okay, I think she was given a shit script. I think she's very pretty, and the acting has been okay. You know, but like I said, I really believe it has to do with the bad script. I don't have anything personal against the actor playing the Soylent. I don't have anything against him. Let me preface that. I mean, any of these actors, really. I'm sure in other parts they'd be fine. But I can't stand this character. I just don't care. First off, he's an emo wannabe Vulcan elf Soylent. He's not a Romulan. It's not what a Romulan looks like. I don't care about this relationship. And every scene that I have to watch this relationship unfold is cringe. It's just cringe. Especially the sliding up and down the hallway scene, for God's sakes. Who thought that was cool? And you know another thing about this damn show. Why is there music in every single scene? Every single one. There's background music in every single scene. There's never a moment in this show where there's no music being played in the background of some kind. Like, I don't need theme music all the damn time. Let me concentrate on the characters, the scene. Let me get involved. We're going to get through this together. I don't think I've ever seen a more blank stare in my life. I don't even care about the scene. Let's move on. After that awful beginning in episode 5, which really has set the tone for me, to just continue to make it extremely difficult, among all of the other things that has made this show extremely difficult, is that it is apparent that this show was written by people who do not understand Star Trek and are not Star Trek fans. Just like the people at Disney Lucasfilm, it is very apparent that those are not fans of Star Wars. And we just had statements that came out this past week from Rian Johnson saying he doesn't even care about canon. You got the Star Wars writers for Project Luminous with their surprise diverse dinosaurs that they don't care. They don't care. And it's apparent that leading up into this episode that there's a lack of caring because they just don't even know the material. They have no real connection to it. It's hard for me to believe that they do. Episode 6 is the only episode to me, aside from the parts with Data in episode 1, that shows me there's somebody in there who understands a little bit. And one of these things is episode 6. In this scene, he's looking over the information about the artifact, and he sees, a picture from TNG. Thank the gods, somebody knows what TNG is, where he was, assimilated into Locutus. And the camera pans around so that the faces match up and everything. That's cool. That was okay. I'm not as... And maybe it's because I'm struggling to find anything to like in this show, but I like that. After we get through the awful opening of Picard, it's just awful. We get to see some stereotypes with Rios. We get to see some stereotypes. Not only do we get to see some stereotypes with Rios, but we also get to understand what SJWs... Just batshit people. This woman just killed her lover at the end of the last episode. She just killed her lover for whatever reason, because they haven't explained anything, because, SJW storytellers don't believe in explaining anything. And now she's ready to bang Rios. How does this make sense? This is a crazy bitch. Crazy. If I didn't like her before, like if I was just disinterested in her before, now I know. Ding, ding, ding. Crazy bitch. Here we have Raffi on drugs again, because that's what drug addicts do, right? They never recover. They never have any personal strength. They're not able to lead a normal life because of their addiction. They constantly fail and fall back and turn into an awful person who can't control their who can't stay away from substances. Fuck you, CBS. While I was editing this review, I got a phone call from my friend Scott, and I was talking to him about doing this video while I was editing it, and he had some interesting things to say about the character of Raffi. And I figured that someone who is battling addiction would have a different perspective from someone like myself, who thankfully has never had to. Here's Scott with a few words for you.
Thank you, Stephen, for those many, many, many fine words you've said about me. You are too kind, sir. Hi, everybody. I'm Scott from Sporking News Podcast. Stephen asked me on to talk about Raffi from the show Picard and the cliche of the drown my sorrows addict or alcoholic on TV. Picard is definitely following in those tropes of the drown my sorrows addict. It is very vanilla, one level layer type of addict. TV in general has had an issue portraying addicts and alcoholics. There are not many things or shows or movies that has actually shown an accurate depiction. They either go for the laughs or they go heavy into the drama, but never truly into the disease itself. And that's what's happening here in Picard. For one thing, I will give them credit, having a female character. Usually the female character in TVs and movies are, she's the party girl, or the hard working, hard drinking woman in a show. So to see a female character being the addict in a show, I have to give them credit for that. But it's a very one layer, one vanilla type of addict. All they're showing is she loses something, she went to the bottle. Picard comes, gives her something to shoot for, so she gets clean just to go see her son. And if you're an addict or an alcoholic like myself, getting clean for anybody usually doesn't work. You have to get clean for yourself and admit that you're powerless over the drug or alcohol. So the minute she saw her son, I knew she was going to relapse. When he did not accept her, I knew that was the route they were going to go. And how blatant of a relapse it was and how generic, yeah, that's why Picard isn't that good. No one on the ship even seems to care or want to say anything to her about it. They actually applauded the drunk for getting them through whatever, paperwork they needed on that episode. Sorry, I don't pay attention that much. It would be nice to see them dive into what causes her addiction, what mental health issues she has. Many might not believe this, but addiction is a disease, and TV needs to learn how to represent that. One show that did it pretty well was Rescue Me. The main character is an addict, alcoholic, and has a lot of issues with it, but has a sponsor. Raffi just gets clean on herself. Will she get a sponsor in space? I don't know. Working a program for most people, really helps them. But they keep showing on TV that these people just cold turkey, I'm going to quit and I'm going to get clean. And they don't represent the large population of addicts. First of all, as an alcoholic, just to quit cold turkey can kill you. So if you didn't know that, that's your PSA for today. You'll go into these tremors, convulsions, and actually you could die from that. And TV never really shows that part. So it is always good when a movie or TV actually dives into the real main reason, the disease, not what you're using, because that's just a symptom of the disease. Some people use heroin, some people use alcohol, but the actual core issue of your disease. And that's because, for most of us, and I'll speak for myself, I am powerless over those drugs and alcohol, and I have a lot of issues. Ask my wife. So I would like to see them actually do something with this character and not just in a couple episodes, she's clean and sober and everything's good. They have a very small window where they can make this character mean something to the addicts and alcoholics, people that still need help, and that people that are in recovery. She can be something that TV has been missing out on. A true portrayal of someone going through the battles of addiction. But that's all I have to say on that. Back to you, Stephen. Thank you.
Thank you, Scotty. Now on to reviewing this awful show. Of course, there's always a woman in charge. Always a woman in charge. The elf wants to go with Picard onto the Borg ship, but he can't go. That's not going to stop a magic-using elf. Soji begins to figure out that she's artificial and that everything around her was made like 3 years ago or 36 months or whatever the hell it was, and begins to freak out. So Soylent offers to take her to a meditation chamber, which at first I honestly thought it had something to do with the Vulcan mind meld, some kind of offshoot of that, but no, it's them walking in a circle. Yay. Picard beams onto the Borg cube, and as I've said before, I really don't have any issues with the Borg cube. I kind of like it. I don't mind the updating of it. I mean, that's fine to me. He begins to have PTSD because he's on a Borg freaking cube again, and he was, turned into Locutus, and Wolf 359 murdered, hundreds of thousands of Starfleet members. He's about to fall off a platform, and a couple of Borg come along, unassimilated, reclaimed people, I guess is what they're calling them, and saves him before he sees Hugh, which is one of the best scenes in this show, to be honest. For a very brief period, this felt like Star Trek. For a very brief period. Again, good to see Hugh, original actor, speaking with Picard, and just, for a few minutes, it felt like Star Trek again, but only a few. Couple great moments where they confront Picard's PTSD, and Hugh kind of walks him through it. I mean, like I said, there's a few fleeting moments where this show felt like Star Trek, where it felt like somebody in the writing room, one of these creators, understood the characters. Unfortunately, whoever these people or this person is bogged down with a bunch of people who have agendas to push and who don't care about Star Trek. So, you take those moments for what they are. I honestly hope at some point that, Kurtzman, everybody is hired, the CBS All Access, just these people just lose it. Just lose Star Trek altogether, and that whoever picks it up will continue from Voyager. That's what I hope from. That's what I'm hoping for. But this is what we got for now, and it's fake Trek. It is what it is. So, Bucktooth Soylent has Soji in this meditation chamber while she's walking in a circle and reliving the memories of the implanted memories, and eventually she is able to see herself on a table, and she's in like wooden parts. That scene was okay. Like, I get the symbolism of it was okay. Soylent tells her to look up. She looks up. She sees a couple moons and an atmosphere, and then Soylent figures out that, or where she's from, or has clues to where she's from. At which point his sister, who is one of the only things I'm really enjoying about this show, because she's hot. I don't care. Hate me for it. I got a thing for hot chicks. I like evil broads, is what it is. And she does a computer search for the planet, and that's all we see of her before he takes his little puzzle box and leaves it in the room and locks her in there, and it emits this radiation that's supposed to kill her. Let's not shoot her with the phaser or the disruptor, or let's not This show. This show. Anyway, she freaks out and activates and starts punching a hole through the floor while he's outside crying. Soy-based mother. Because he's inept. He's just inept. He can't even kill her. What are you doing? 6 episodes and 1 doppelganger later, Picard finally finds Soji. His attachment to her is based on Data's brain sperm. The insinuation that she is a biological android made from one of Data's positrons in his brain, in his head. The show's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So yeah, he's gonna save Soji for some unspecified reason because he has memories of his friend. Blah blah blah. Anyway, moving on. The proof that there is at least one person in this writer's room that understands Star Trek, at least one, is the mention of the Sicarians from Voyager. Hooray! Yay! Anyway, they're going to use the spatial projector to send Picard to another reshoot to Riker, which is going to be in the next episode, and Deanna. Okay, I guess. I hope that Riker and Deanna are Riker and Deanna and not Jake Picard and not Lesbian of 9. More like Data and Hugh, who were kind of like these original canon Star Trek characters stuck in fake Trek, So, whatever. I'm digging that Soji's forever being barefoot half this episode. I don't got a feet fetish or anything. It's just, I don't know. I think it was the Shakira effect from a long time ago. So, nobody can get to Picard or beam him out or whatever. And all of a sudden, Elnor's missing. Elnor's missing, right? Elnor knows nothing about technology. He knows nothing about technology, right? But we're supposed to believe that in silence and on Rios' ship, that he was able to slip away from the people of the bridge, get to the transporter, locate where Picard and everybody else was near the Queen's chamber, and put in the coordinates and beam himself over silently without them noticing. I have a different theory. See, Elnor is an elf. I think he shadow walked over there. That's what I think. I think he used elf magic, and that's why he just poof disappeared. That's why they couldn't find him, because he's an elf in the Star Trek universe. So he just he had some heads to cut off, because that's what we do now in Star Trek. We have elves, samurai elves, who cut off other Romulans' heads. That's what we do. That's what we got now. And that's pretty much the end of the episode. I know I didn't cover a lot of things. That's just I just didn't care. I just don't care. But these are the highlights. I want to like Elnor. It's so difficult. I have to look at the scene as if he used magic in order to get where he got. That's just where I'm at. So I know the next episode comes out in a couple days. I'm gonna try and make a review. Like I said, it's been very difficult. It's very difficult. Other people that are doing great reviews on this that I'm enjoying, and are more in depth. Gary Nerdrotic, check out Nerdrotic. That Star Wars girl.
Hoes be crazy. Hoes be crazy. So I'm in Twitter prison, and I discovered Reddit. Dun 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 dun.
I've been a fan of Anna That Star Wars Girl for a long time. For a couple of years now. I've always looked at Anna That Star Wars Girl as that's the Star Wars girl. Like I go to her when I want to talk about Star Wars, when I want to hear about Star Wars. It has been very pleasing to know that she's a Trekkie. That's awesome. When I watch her videos, like when I watch Gary, these are people that understand Star Trek and are just as heartbroken as me and upset and angry at what this mockery is. So check out Anna, and check out Gary, Doomcock, of course, Hail Lord Doomcock, and all of the other YouTubers that you can catch that are doing reviews of Star Trek Picard. Thank you to everybody for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate all of you. I know I've been slow on content. I'm doing my best. Take care. Be good to each other. And peace.
There's an old Vulcan proverb. Only Nixon could go to China.